Remy, tried your best to be the anchor, and it's the first attempt is a good attempt. Bear with us. We are a team building, and it's a process by which we experiment sometimes. Your Excellency, the Indian Ambassador to Qatar, the extraordinary diplomat with a difference, I always call. His efforts has been to promote the bilateral values between India and Qatar, and he has been fairly successful in accomplishing these objectives. And I warmly welcome him for this interesting and exciting evening. I also welcome Mrs. Swine, Administrative Officer, Indian Administrative Officer, who is also the Vice Chairman of the Gujarat Industrial Development Corporations, and also the head of the visiting delegation, Vibrant Gujarat. The members of the Vibrant Gujarat delegation, distinguished guests, our customers, esteemed customers, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure and privilege for me to welcome you all for this meaningful session. The purpose of the session is to understand the opportunities in India, especially Gujarat, and also showcase Qatar and bridge the gap to make sure we build this partnership, promoting the values between these two blocks, ensuring bilateral trade, investment, banking, and finance is growing in tandem. We live in an interconnected, interdependent world. Extraordinary moment we are going through. I call it as third phase of the global financial crisis. America is said to be recovering, printing money, improving the liquidity, inflating the market world over, has deflected the asset price. But time has come to revisit the quantitative easing. QE tapering is in action. By end of next month, perhaps, America will stop the bond buying programs. We will have the reflection in the global market. Housing market is improving. Last quarter, America has reported 4.2% growth. And again, employment opportunities are visible. Jobless claims are very less. America, as the world's largest economy, is said to be in the right direction. And again, it's not only liquidity which can fix the issue. The monetary policy and fiscal policy has to be aligned. We have seen the reflection in Europe still reeling under pressure. ECB, European Central Bank, is not going to stop the money supply, unlike US has predicated. But Europe is in no mood to stop the money supply program. They need to inflate the world. They need to inflate the European economies. Enlarged Europe requires huge amount of consumer price inflation. And again, they have to make sure the development expenditure comes in, fiscal prudence comes in, fiscal consolidation comes in. Japan is going to do the same. Technically, they were under recession for many decades. Now, with open market operations, they are printing trillions of yen. And again, we have seen the reflection. Japan is recovering. The deflection is there by weakening the currency. By weakening the currency, you improve the trade. Export-driven economies are said to be engaged in currency war, which creates trade reflection. That's the world we're in. Financial economies are still reeling under pressure. The real economies are redefining the scope and performance. We recognize real economies are incrementally adding over 60% of the global GDP. We are conscious of the fact the global partnership is getting recognized within the BRIC economies. We also see global partnership is becoming inclusive from G7 to G8, G8 to the G20 today. At the same time, geopolitical tensions world over is deflecting the global momentum, global growth. Whether it is Crimea and Ukraine on account of ambitious Russia, or Iraq in this part of the world, or Syria, the world at large is going through extraordinary turbulence. The market deflection in the financial sector, we are seeing it visibly. While the dollar index is getting strengthened, the dollar basket has gone up in the last 2 weeks to 82.7 points. That reflects a very strong dollarization in the global space. US Treasury is still formidable. There's no alternate in real response to changing dynamics. And clearly, while dollar is strengthening, rest of the currencies are weakening. Euro is weakening. Today, Japanese yen, if you look at it, $1 equals to 105.7 Japanese yen. That clearly shows the world at large is still under pressure. The market deflection, whether it's stock market or currency market or bond market or property market, is becoming highly volatile, highly articulate, highly fluctuating. But that's precisely the opportunity we need to understand. In the midst, Gulf economies are performing. Indian economy is back in track. These two blocks are very promising. Gulf economies, for the benefit of the visiting delegation, is $1.6 trillion block, taking oil at $65. Today, oil quoting over $100. Clearly, it is an extraordinary financial stability. The current account surplus, 6 states put together over 25% of the GDP. That shows nowhere in the world you will have a very strong economic fundamentals like the Gulf. And within the Gulf definition, Qatar is a telling story, a country of substance with substantial compliance, extraordinary vision and execution. The current year GDP is said to be $215 billion, taking oil and gas equivalent in one fabric at $65 per barrel. And the projected, according to the IMF, current account surplus is over $50 billion, which is 25% of the GDP. GDP is growing according to the Development Council statistics, and again, IMF has endorsed 6.3% this year, possibly 7.8% next year. That's not an ordinary growth. The non-hydrocarbon is reflecting in real growth. Hydrocarbon is getting marginalized. We have seen moratorium by the government in terms of natural gas, but oil, gas and petrochemicals are the real source of revenue streams. Urban development, airport, seaport, road, rail projects are reflecting in the overall GDP momentum. The country has got huge fiscal surplus as well. Sovereign funds over $100 billion. The projected fiscal surplus is over 10%. That's not ordinary economics. India, again, an extraordinary functioning democracy, largest democracy. We are proud of the heritage, culture, and civilization. And we recognize India is a country of huge substance again. By core economic terms, this century has got a lot to reconcile with the reality. India is going to be formidable in terms of global governance. There's no question about it. Look at the economic momentum. A cautious optimism, at the same time, extraordinary functional democracy has been showcased by the Indian voters. Over 700 million people coming together, casting ballots within few hours. The reflection of the results shows how solid, how strong it is in terms of functional democracy. Have your say, that's the reflection. Human rights, that's the reflection. Modernization, at the same time, history and civilization is akin to the overall balance. Result, we are seeing the reflection in the economics. The last quarter, India has reported almost 5.7%, a recorded high yield in the last quarter. That's a telling story. The new government, with solid majority, has announced liberalized framework for business. Investment climate is improving. Foreign direct investments is improving. Remittance is improving. If you look at some of the announcements within 100 days, I just came after seeing the picture of 100 days performance of the new government, which is showcased in BBC. What I saw was phenomenal. What they're trying to articulate is the government has set in right kind of policy framework to promote long-term balance. That's what a reflection. The market has gone up by year to date 27%. History. And again, fiscal consolidation is taking place. Current account deficit is reducing. Again, fiscal deficit is reducing. The inflation, wholesale inflation is coming down. Consumer price inflation, which is starting at 8%, now is 7.96%. Remittances are improving. Foreign direct investments, FDI today, last year it was 36 billion. As on date, it is over 24 billion. That shows the new optimism is coming. There are global partnerships evolving between India and the rest of the world. And again, the government, rightfully so, to set in promises, they are executing the policy framework. The parliament has responded well between economics and politics. Good amount of parliamentary time deliberating issues which are responsive. We have seen liberalization in terms of railways. We have seen liberalization in terms of the real estate. We also have enough opportunities for investments. Investment corridors are getting open. The Prime Minister of India is in Japan to build further global partnership. There were announcements in terms of road rail networks. Extraordinary momentum is being visible now. In terms of global remittances, India ranks #1. And again, Gulf plays a significant portion of the overall total. Over 70 billion is what India is generating from global remittances. And again, over 45 billion comes out of the Gulf states. That's the momentum. This is extraordinary momentum in the defining wall. What we see, these two blocks between the Gulf and India is interesting and exciting. The bilateral trade is over $150 billion. That's not a lot. The investments are mushrooming. India and Qatar is going in the right direction. Nearly 17 billion plus is the bilateral trade. Qatar exports oil, gas, and petrochemicals. And again, we also import automobile machinery equipments, machineries, and again, food supplies, apparels. So it's a growing partnership. Investments, we have seen the glimpses of it last year. May when Qatar Foundation has committed for 5% stake in Bhartiya Airtel. These are tip of the icebergs. Again, the ambassador has been taking strenuous efforts to bridge the gap by building this partnership. With this purpose in mind, we have showcased the Embassy of India and Doha Bank, as always, coming together to showcase the opportunities for the Qataris. Explore the possibilities and disseminate knowledge, ensuring we understand in terms of trade or investments, banking or finance. Gujarat is a telling story. The current Prime Minister was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. He has done extraordinary performance over 12 years' time, and visibly the business-friendly atmosphere has improved the momentum, what we call Vibrant Gujarat. That purpose is well casted. That is precisely the reason the visiting delegation is in town. They're going to showcase the importance of Gujarat, Vibrant Gujarat, what it means in terms of the conference which is scheduled next year, early next year, January, second week, and what does it mean for you as businessman. Have a look at it, explore the possibilities, let us build this partnership and take this next level. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now I have the great pleasure of welcoming our ambassador, Indian Ambassador, His Excellency Sanjeev Arora, to the dais.